pretty much we're back, episode 2 this time. Previously we had a bunch of like hardware issues, things like that, but it's good now, so like it should be working out.
Now it's all good. Now we're all set up.
Yeah, I mean, one thing last time we had, when like you're not going to see that footage that we had before, but we had a bunch of good talking points.
Yes.
One thing, so like pretty much I went into this whole like healthcare rant thing, and you were like, no, but like why not? Like, okay, you say like things like this are political, but I don't think it is. Because what is it? It's like, it's just general knowledge, pretty much.
No, it's not. It's not.
How is it not? Go ahead.
Not. Everyone disagrees on the topic. Let's not discuss it.
No, but like, okay. I understand that you don't want to discuss it, but like the differences between it's like, if you don't discuss certain things, then like, how are people going to know differing sides?
Well, I mean, I think we've seen right now, with the media, right?
Yeah, come on, go ahead. No. That's exactly my point.
It's rough, it's divided, I think we shouldn't really cover that. I think, but people want to hear something different from that now.
No, okay, but if the people want to hear something different, but then they always have their one concreting side. Because let's say you have an opinion about something, and you never hear a single opinion about anything else. Then what happens? You don't have the other opinion side.
Sure, yeah. I mean, we aren't trying to hold a position on this though. I feel like
we're not trying to hold a position. It's just showing two different sides of a thing, and you can choose based on the different factual information about each opinion which one you side with more or less.
I suppose, but I think politics is a very touchy topic. I think
no, of course it is a touchy topic. It's just like it's trying to figure out which side you kind of line with more. But then it's just like figuring out those sides instead of like someone who's like heavily on one side of an opinion and they're like speaking into you, being like, you should listen to my opinion, compared to someone else is like, listen to mine. Instead, if it's just only the facts, then trying to figure out an actual like, which way should I lean toward?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we've seen that with more than just politics though, right? We've seen that with like huge. Yeah, no. Hear me out. Okay. We've seen it with like AI, right? We've seen it with like business. We've seen it with housing, right? It's kind of like interesting how we've all, even in business, right, where we disagree on what is the best strategy to use when we're trying to build a business, right? Some want to have this kind of a business model. Some want to have this kind of business model. Some want to have board members. Some don't have board members, And I think different leadership structures, right? People want that as well. So politics, business.
Politics business. I mean, okay. I feel like the best business model is having like, starting off at least, is having like a small group of people. You have like, you're either one or two executives, and then you have people that have like, what would you say? Would they have like somewhat equity within, or would they just be like full on just workers?
I think you should have some equity, obviously, for very good developers or very good and very useful people on your business team. But I feel like starting off, one or two co-founders as kind of executives, and from there you kind of just build your product out as something like that's kind of young and new, and you just like kind of throw it at the market and see if there's a product market fit.
Just like, I mean, that's like the one difficult thing though, because let's say you get all these people and you create your entire solution, you send it out, that it doesn't click or anything. And I think that's one major thing that's occurring now is like people, yes, they find their niche, they find whatever, they create this product. And the issue with these products is that they have to be perfectly lined up to like a user's experience, like how a user would like expect it to be. Yeah. Because like a few decades ago, it's like, even if it didn't look fantastic, if it just simply functioned, then people would use it. But now you have to think of UI, you have to think of what a person like would feel when using a certain thing. It's trying to decide, it's like, is this enough for someone to actually use it?
Well, I feel like, I think at that point you want to pivot, right? Pivoting is very useful, and actually I think probably the necessary thing to do when your idea doesn't work out. With my ideas, right? I've had so many different business ideas, and a lot of them didn't catch on. I think the reason for that is sometimes because it isn't ripe for market change yet. We haven't seen like a ripe moment for a different product in the market, and I think at that point you just pivot and you see what works and what doesn't. I think you can completely swap functionality out. You can become from a consumer business to a B2B model, right, where you, instead of helping consumers out and other people, you help out businesses and their idea and their business side of operations, right? So you can do that as well when you're a software company, or even any company can do that.
That's true. I mean, it's just the main thing is like figuring out that hopefully someone isn't going to like get ahead of you, because now there's so many, what do you call them, like competitors.
Sure.
But mainly it's like, what can you figure out is like, so where am I going with this?
I don't know.
I don't know where I'm going with
this. Let's see. Let's
I
hear
mean,
it out.
let's hear it out. I mean, pretty much what I'm trying to say is that if you have multiple different things all trying to compete for one opportunity standpoint, it's like, which one's gonna get out to the front? It's like, let's say one company compared to like 3 others gets hired to do a certain thing. Then these other companies are gonna be like, oh, they did that, just copy paste, and now it's even
Look at
better.
the .com bubble, right? I think Jeff Bezos, he started Amazon right when the .com top level domains were just coming out, and people were buying them. And his goal wasn't to create an e-commerce platform, but a user experience that no other site can match, right? And I think even to this day, Amazon still has those values of always providing the best customer service. I think at the end of the day, if you want to be the top in business, you have to provide the best customer experience, customer service, and you also have to have constant updates for the product, because you want people to feel like they're still being helped out with their supported products.
I mean, what is it like? Amazon's customer service is ridiculously good.
Yep.
It's surprisingly good. It's like you buy a certain thing, it's like, I don't really want it, or like, nah, I don't need it, just return. They ask no questions at all. It's simply click a button, return, done. I'm surprised that, like, because they don't return it back to the actual company themselves. What they do is that they give the company the money back, and then they just ship it to their like facilities where
Warehouse.
they just like send out, it's like you can buy specific Amazon things in like bulk, like Amazon returns in bulk. And a lot of people, they make a profit from that, flipping it. Pretty much what they do, they buy a box of Amazon returns for $400. You have no idea what's in it at all.
Yeah.
And then you just go through it. Sometimes,
Pallets.
exactly, you just make like a huge amount, and then other times it's like, oh, I made like $10 on it.
Yeah, I think Bezos did a good job with infrastructure, because when you look at like how many warehouses they have, fulfillment centers, I'll bet you've seen it like driving through your town, some kind of giant warehouse with an Amazon logo on it.
Yeah, I mean, we have one like right over there, pretty much.
Yeah,
It's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's huge, and they have tons of trucks out, and he basically built one of the best, not transportation companies, but shipping companies, right? I think he acquired Whole Foods actually, not for the food company, for the food business, but I think he acquired it for distribution, because at the end of the day, I think he wanted to have a chain of different networks across the country. And that's how he kind of built Amazon Prime, right? A lot of Amazon Prime customers demand 1 or 2 day shipping. How do you think he supports like millions of orders a day?
Right, it's just having that infrastructure, it just perfectly lines in.
Kind of reminds me of Tesla's infrastructure too, with their EV charging stations.
Tesla's EV charging, it's like brilliant how Elon was able to just like mass outdo it. Like they have the charging locations in like perfect locations. It's like you're realistically now, you're never gonna run out of charge unless you're being an actual idiot.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you start just not going past chargers, then you're just like, okay, you're gonna run out of charge and just be stranded in the dead. But
basically, he's like throwing so much money at throwing those chargers across the nation that you don't have to worry about it anymore. And also Tesla autopilot cars, they just drive you directly to those chargers. Like they literally make it so that it's as easy as possible. But then there's that 30-minute wait time.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a bad thing at the moment. Like, of course, you can just take gas, pump it in, takes 2 seconds. But how much do you save per each? Because right now, filling up a full tank probably costs around like $50 to $70, depending on which state you live in. Compared to electricity, it's going to be like $30 to $40 max. So you're saving money, but in time, you're losing time. So it's kind of like, which one do you favor more?
Yeah.
I mean, personally, at the moment, I favor time over money, but
makes sense.
As you progress on, it's like, where are you going to be putting your time? Because one thing people do now is like they plug in their car and then they just start doing work inside their thing.
Like, you're traveling like long distance, right? And you're on a road trip. I feel like you want to be quick with it, but at the same time, though, like you also are given the entertainment features, right? Tesla made sure to provide those software features.
Right, like what you can watch like Netflix within the actual thing.
You can even play games in your car.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Boy, you can edit inside your car. That's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be us literally just editing within it.
Actually, yeah, where you can like plug in a mouse and keyboard and start
so
editing.
Stupid.
Yeah. No, I didn't have an NVIDIA GPU in there, right? Like an RTX.
I don't think it's an RTX GPU.
I could have sworn it was.
If it is, that's really surprising. But like, that's also unnecessary.
Yeah.
Who's realistically gonna be cranking a GPU inside their car? But it's definitely cool stuff you see.
Yeah.
I mean, one other cool. God, our transitions are so awful.
Not awful.
They're not awful.
We'll get there, yeah.
You know what? okay.
Public speaking is tough.
It's not tough. It's just you have to have a certain criteria. It's like, how are you going to specifically talk when you're doing it? Because some people, they go out and they just have like completely relaxed. This is what you do. This is exactly what you do. Yeah. You pretty much go out and then you just start having these like, pretty much you're just talking to like 3 people in a room of 100.
Yes. I prefer it that way actually. And the reason I prefer that way is because when you wing it, and usually I wing it when I'm confident. Okay? If I'm not confident, I'm going to be like a complete mess. But when I'm confident in what I'm saying, and I know what I'm saying is what I've worked on for a while, typically winging it is not a problem for me. I think it's just a matter of like knowing what you're talking about, and you just can speak about it all day. If you really are truly confident and you're proud of what you built.
Okay, yes, but then the issue is, let's say you're not confident though. Let's say it's some presentation. It's like you have 10 minutes to look at this information and present. Then the thing kind of doesn't work. Because personally what I do, I just memorize everything.
Really?
Yeah. Like, of course, it's a time concern, because if you're memorizing your entire speech, then you have to put in the time to actually memorize it. But once you memorize it, then everything just flows nicely.
Makes sense.
Because there's no misspoken word, there's no random thing, there's no like
that's
things
true,
like that.
True.
It just flows perfectly. And I feel like that's one. Typically when you see people presenting, they do typically what you do. Either they have everything just like on the flow of their mind, they know everything thoroughly and everything. That's like the ideal kind of.
Yeah,
it's like you can just talk without having any consequence. But for a lot of people, it's like you start shaking when you're presenting. That's where memorizing comes in really well. Because if you're just if you have your entire speech memorized and you're just saying it, then you can't really mess it up.
I saw like a lot of kids that were doing the science research program at Amity. They a lot of them had different presentation styles. Like some memorized the whole thing. They word for word. They had like a giant piece of paper. They memorized all of it. And some who like knew what they were talking about at a kind of like a bird's eye view, but they're really confident what they built and what they understand, then I think that they're able to present it quite well. And the information they present is typically, I feel like, the quality is really good too. But that varies between person to person.
It does. I mean, one major difficulty is like trying to like focus while someone is saying certain information, because nowadays attention span is so short.
Oh my God.
I see this directly with myself. I'm watching people present. I can't pay attention. I'm like, you look away for 1 second and you're like, what were they talking about?
Okay. Nowadays, look at these kids, right? They're watching like Family Guy and Subway Surfers and some clip, right? Attention spans are now controlled by those little dopamine hits that we see on like short form content.
I mean, it's hard to even get out of that, because once you're in it, it's like you can go in like these dopamine detoxes. What people do, they just remove everything from their lives, and they're all right, we're gonna start completely fresh. We're gonna not do anything, have our phone completely off. But after a while, you're just gonna jump back to it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I've seen those before actually. Those are interesting.
I mean, well, like apps. I mean, TikTok does really well in like capturing someone's like appeal and like their viewership, but I feel like YouTube Shorts itself just pumps it though. That's the thing. Like TikTok does well, but after a while you're like, I didn't really learn anything, so I'm just gonna leave the app.
Yeah. I feel like the internet, people want to be productive, right, when they're online, and that's how it's been for the past 20 years. People have been going online and writing emails, research, or reading novels or books, anything of the sorts. And nowadays with social media, it's like our content is really it's just going downhill. So a lot of these content creators, actually, I think they discuss this. A lot of people also want to learn, and you can also tailor your feed based on what you're trying to work on.
Exactly. I mean, one thing you can do is like you watch a certain video, you watch that video, and then you skip throughout every other video. You watch it again, one that you find that like you like to do, and you just do that for like 10-15 minutes, and then your feed is just information.
I tested that. Actually, I wanted to see how it works, and I found that it actually made my content like feed way better. Like, so I like software. I like building software. I like programming, right? I only liked and interacted with the posts that had only software developers, and I found over time the algorithm found what I liked, and it just gave me all informative.
Yeah, I mean, the one issue with doing that though is that then you only get that.
Well, you can change it up eventually.
You can of course change it up, but it's much more difficult to get out of that.
That's true.
Because like, if you're continuously being fed a certain thing, then trying to break away from that is like, how are you gonna do it? You know what? That circles perfectly back into having different opinion views.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The second I say that, it just moves completely away.
No, let's move away from that.
Let's move away from that. Drink some water.
Yeah.
You know what? Speaking of water, what we do, I think, is the best thing.
Yes.
Anytime you have a talking point, whether you're in public, whether you're in a private setting, anytime the conversation gets quiet, just like quickly just take a sip of water.
It's
Just
the best thing ever. You know, you don't want to like awkwardly stare at each other, right, and just not talk, right? What you do is you bring it out in the open. You say, all right, let's just drink some water and think about what we have to discuss next, right?
Exactly.
Like this?
What this does is that it allows one person to take a break from talking, and instead of it just sounding like completely awkward, it's like the reason you're stopping is just because you need a drink of water.
Not because you don't know what to talk about. And eventually along the way, you figure out what to say.
Because it gives that second of like, because when you drink water, you know the thing where it's like, if you like look up completely with your eyes, it like releases like the creativity thing. It creates your mind, and it like makes your brain think more creatively compared to thinking more logically. What that allows is that then you can think of different topic points and different things to talk about pretty much instantly, just with a simple sip of water. And it does definitely well in like, if you're having like even like a business meeting, it's like maybe it might be a bit more awkward in a business meeting. Because
I think
you start taking sips of water.
Business meeting, you have to like actually talking about your business, or about what kind of topic you guys came to discuss. You can't just like.
But in general discussions though, is that if you're talking with a person or like a family member and things are getting awkward, as it sometimes does, just quickly take a sip of water and you're pretty much good. Well, I mean, that's not too bad. We might as well just start sipping more water.
No. Actually, that water over there, right? Show your water to the camera here.
This water right here.
This is Poland Springs. That's Kirkland's signature. Apparently, reverse osmosis has salt in it.
I mean, of course it is, because you're taking it directly. Oh, this is spring water though. That's the thing.
No.
What do you mean?
Wait, that's spring water?
Poland Spring. Kirkland maybe. Okay, Poland Spring right here. Poland Spring is going to be spring water because it's from, where does it say? It's from different springs in like Poland, Maine, Spruce Springs. These are all from different springs.
Right here, the ingredients list for purified water, sodium chloride.
Okay, yeah, because they put minerals within it to taste good.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's not gonna be physical salt. Because here's the issue with reverse osmosis: it takes too much energy to do. These are, I'm very certain these are not reverse osmosis. They might be.
You know what's interesting though? I actually read a study, right? Theme parks get Dasani water with salt in it, obviously, right?
Okay.
They get Dasani water so that people get more and more thirsty. More and more Dasani water. Isn't that wild?
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great marketing strat, but it's like, how ethical is that?
Yeah.
I mean,
no, you don't want.
And Dasani tastes pretty good.
I mean, it tastes good because it's Dasani, but then eventually you get more and more thirsty. Like 10 minutes later, you want to buy more water and more water. It's a business for sure. It's a big business.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's nuts though. But I mean, what is it? Currently in New England area, the main is just Poland Spring usually, unless you're like just going crazy at Costco. Then obviously
going crazy at Costco.
But mainly it's just Poland Spring. In California and places in like the West more, I'm pretty sure it's like some other brand. I forget what it's called, but you see like these different brands just going as you move throughout the country. It's not like simple, just like one different thing. I mean, I feel like Poland Spring is most definitely the best in comparison to other waters. I can't describe it because like the minerals in this is like, wait, this isn't even Poland Spring. We refilled this water bottle, but in general, Poland Spring is up. I don't know what they do to their water. It tastes so good. Like compared to just Kirkland, like it tastes fine.
What about water flavors? We're out of content already, and it's the third episode. Shit. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, as we approach the final 20 minutes, I'd like to say drink some water. Yeah. You typically want to drink half a gallon of water a day.
Wait, why is that? What the heck? Why?
It's just better for your body because, I mean, it's probably with dehydration and things like that. I'm not sure exactly, but most people recommend, like doctors recommend half a gallon of water because if you drink too much water, then you like relieve the salts in your body, which you don't want to do. Cool. You want the salts, but also if you're having too little water, then it's not having like the benefits that you do because water itself, you need water to live. So it's pretty important. It is pretty important. No, I didn't know that. That's nuts.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
I mean, that's pretty good for now. And then I guess we'll see next time.
Yeah.
We'll come with more water and come with water.
More water for
exactly.
Ourselves. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.